Hello and welcome to the Agri-Learn podcast. I'm your host, Reinvest, an aspiring full-time farmer and the brand ambassador for the Women and Youth Loan Scheme product at the Agricultural Bank of Namibia. Today, I'm joined by Ms. Indileni Nangonga, who is the Senior Research and Product Development Officer at the Agricultural Bank of Namibia. Ms. Indileni will be talking to us about financial literacy, especially with regards to farmers. Ms. Nangonga, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Right. Ms. Nangonga, let's get right into it. What's your definition for financial literacy?
Financial literacy has different aspects. So for me, it's about understanding your financial position and having the skills around managing your finances. Now, the financial literacy is the foundation to the relationship with your money. When you're managing your business, your agricultural project, any funds that you have taken, you need to understand the financial aspect for your farming business or project that you're undertaking. And it's also important to understand that financial literacy is not just something that you gain and you let it go. It's an ongoing, it's a journey that you take. You continue and you practice financial literacy when you're busy with your business objectives or business activities.
That's so wonderfully said. Why is it important for farmers to be financially literate?
Because it paves your way to, farming productively, getting an income, improving or sustaining the current livelihood, your family and all that. So it's very, very important that you get your financial aspects right. Let me give you an example. If you're farming, and let's say you're doing livestock, your aim should always be, what is your financial goal at the end of the day? Because you want to improve your livelihood. You want to make sure that your family is well off. You eat. You make money from, you earn a salary from that. So you definitely need to understand that financial management, financial literacy is very important in that aspect. It paves your way to successful business operation. Just like any other business, farming should also be regarded as a business, and that finance plays a big, big role in that.
All right. Now let's talk about the key components of financial literacy. What are the key components of financial literacy?
So for me, I believe there are a few that you can obviously take note of. The first one is earnings. There's no way you're running a farming activity and you do not want to earn. You want to sell your animal or you want to sell your crop or your vegetables or whatever it is, and you want to earn an income. So the earning part is. The second part is savings. So, and that's something that many farmers actually neglect. So you earn and you want to spend or you want to reinvest, but we neglect the part of savings. Savings is that thing that whenever you are faced with a rainy day, challenge, emergencies, then you know where to run to. If your pipe bursts at the farm or your animals need some feed at an emergency state, then at least you have some savings put aside. Then you have the investment part. You have the debt part where you go for credit. Like for instance, Agribank. The role is to develop farmers, but obviously you need to go for credit to understand that aspect. So that's another component that you really need to understand. And then you have the aspect of preserving wealth. How do you preserve wealth? That's through savings investment. Not just working until you die, but making sure that your money that you're working for works for you as well. It's very, very important to understand that it's not just an activity that you are doing. This is a business transaction. And you need to earn and feel and live for your money.
Thank you so much. Let's talk about, you talked about savings. What is savings and why is it important for farmers?
So savings, different from investment, of course. Savings is putting aside money that you would need in the short run. Very important, because you never know what happens tomorrow. Any emergency, it can be family emergencies, It can be emergencies with your animal. You quickly need to get an animal doctor in, or what you call a vet. If I'm not mistaken. Yes. All those little emergencies, you need to have money aside. So that's your short-term kind of money that you reach out for when there's an emergency.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily always have to run to banks to kind of give you that, relief. It's not always. You can also keep aside money for yourself, knowing that if there's any rainy day, I can tap into something. So is that short-term, easy, accessible? It doesn't mean that you can assess it every second or every hour or so, but at least that 24 hours or 48 hours accessible money. And it shouldn't be money that is under a mattress, because under a mattress you just take it. So importantly, you need to make sure that you either have a unit trust for it, a call account, whatever means you're using, but have that money that is easily accessible within 24 hours, 48 hours in case of any emergency.
Very well explained. Thank you for that. Now, we just talked about the importance of savings, right? Let's talk about the how. How and where can farmers save their money?
The how is based on case by case. It's all up to you as to how you're saving. But it is obviously also drawing from being financially literate and also understanding the financial market as to where to save, how to save, what are your interests, your risk appetite. Is it short-term savings or is it medium-term savings? So the how is really up to you, is from person to person, from farmer to farmer. Where you can save, there are a number of financial institutions where you can go to. They will guide you as to which products they are offering. That's all up to you to choose which one, but there are numerous. The banks are an example of that. You approach them, their unit trusts, their call accounts. You go and you find out what is the right way to save according to your risk, according to your interest, and according to your need. At the end of the day, it's about you and what you want.
Thank you for that. Let's move on. Is it necessary for a farmer to access credit when starting their farming enterprise?
Of course, that's why Agribank is there. But I need to reiterate on this. If you have startup capital, I know with the women and youth, we advocating for start small and scale up.
Yes, definitely.
So if you definitely have startup capital and you have budgeted and planned that in the future, if I scale up, then I would need capital. For instance, if you have startup capital. If you don't have startup capital, you have a great idea, you don't know where to go, you were previously disadvantaged, advisably so. If you believe that your business is feasible, it's viable, and you can really undertake this project, then you can go. Institutions such as Agribank really make sure that farmers get competitive rates. Farmers get good repayment terms. And it's just important for you to tap into this, especially now that we're emphasizing on female farmers, we're emphasizing on young farmers. Take advantage of these opportunities, the low interest that you're getting, and start off your business. As long as you believe in your business, you believe in the cash flow projections of that business, and you have done sufficient market research on that business, then by all means, there is nothing wrong in going into credit. And again, it goes back to financial literacy. You need to understand, why am I taking that credit? How am I going to repay that credit? And are the interest rates something that I can pay back? And am I really going to take as long as the terms, or can I repay it faster? So you really need to strategize around paying. And sometimes just because you can afford something doesn't mean that you can go for it.
That's a nice point.
So it's really just understanding, making sure that if you're going for credit, it's not straining you as a person. Because anything can happen in agriculture. You have things like fluctuating weather if you perhaps doing crop farming. You have droughts that can happen if you're a livestock farmer. So what are you going to do if you strain yourself financially just by taking debt? So you need to understand that whole aspect before you go for it. But nevertheless, take up the opportunity, especially at low interest and good repayment terms.
I like that, because when you do your market research, it actually helps you to determine if your business is viable or not at the end of the day. So then you will be able to determine if you should go for this credit or not.
Yeah, and also understanding your market from a demand perspective,
Exactly.
Demand supply perspective.
Yeah.
There's no point you growing a lot of tomatoes if no one is buying tomatoes in your region.
True.
Although it's good to grow tomatoes.
Yeah.
So you really need to understand your market. Are you going to make money? At the end of the day, you need to think about the end goal. What is your end goal? Whenever you're undertaking this project, especially your financial end goal.
Exactly.
All of us, if you say business, you think about profits, you think about earning and making your life better.
Yes.
So what is your end goal? In search for that when you're doing market research.
Yeah.
Is it viable from that perspective? And is it doable?
A very lucid explanation right there. You mentioned debt. What is debt management and why is it important?
Debt management, again, from my perspective, is really just understanding your credit, your debt, and how to go about repaying the debt in such a manner that it does not strain you. And I'm going to get to that again.
Okay.
It's very important that you live in peace as a farmer. You need to make sure that if you're undertaking the debt, how are you repaying? That is very, very important. Is it from your salary? Then you must know. Is it going to be cash flow based? You must understand how you're going to make that cash flow.
Okay.
Are you having equipment that are probably redundant? Should you sell them? Do you get what I'm saying? To make sure that that cash flow is consistent in your business. If something is not working, are you going to re-strategize to make sure that you are still servicing that debt? You don't want to end up being listed on ICTs and making life unbearable for your children or for your parents or any other somebody else. Or you also don't want to get to the point where your property or your farm is being auctioned off just because you didn't manage your debt.
Exactly.
So it's very important to understand before I go for debt, before I go apply for credit, how am I going to repay under any circumstance? You must always price in risk. Risk of losing all your animals, risk of, locust. We have the swamp of locusts now.
Exactly.
All those risks you need to take into consideration. And that's why in debt as well, you need to understand the aspect of insurance. You have the risk of losing your job if you had a salary-backed loan, for instance. So did you take into consideration the insurance aspect of it? You have the risk of losing all your livestock. Yes, in Namibia at the moment we don't have agricultural insurance, but if that's something that is coming, then are you hands-on? Do you understand what it means? Do you know what you're paying for? And are you making sure that you're not sitting with a debt at the end of the day that you can't service? Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, what is the sustainable way to reinvest profits into one's farming enterprise?
Obviously, people do it differently. Some people would take all the profits and reinvest. Now, I always advise, and this is just to be almost like a management type of position that you're sitting in because you don't know what tomorrow holds. It's always important that if you get profits from your business, after all, what you do is if you want to reinvest, never reinvest 100% of your profit again into the business.
And that's what a lot of farmers do actually, hey?
Exactly. You don't know what tomorrow holds. And then tomorrow there's a drought and then what? You reinvested all your profits. So it's always wise for a farmer to say, I had made 100% profit, but I'm going to reinvest 40%, or I'm going to reinvest 60%, and I'm going to keep 40%. You still need to maintain that savings aspect of your saving or of your financial books. You need to say, I have made profits, 20% is going to savings, 20% I am probably going to have a lavish lifestyle, treat myself.
It's needed.
And 60% I'm going to reinvest, buy a tractor, buy a machinery, buy feed for my cattle, or maybe vaccinations and all that, reinvesting into your business to make sure that you're still getting, you know, higher than what you got last year, but at the same time, you are doing it so strategically that if anything happens or any loss is to be realized after reinvesting, I still have a portion left that I can either reinvest or try and do damage control, or something that I can say, if nothing happens, then I can build on that.
Oh, nice. Strategic reinvestment.
Yes.
Right. Now, before we let you go, one final question. Where can farmers acquire financial literacy in Namibia?
At the moment, I'm only aware of one.
Okay.
Where it's not just farmers, obviously it's also in general, any other person, but farmers should really take advantage of that as well. We have the Financial Literacy Initiative.
Okay.
So, and that really just wants to make sure that you understand your business, you understand your operations, you understand your project from a financial perspective.
Okay.
It's fine to know that my tomatoes grow like this. It's fine to know that, you know, my livestock, if they eat enough of this grass, they become fat. But what happens thereafter if you sell your animal, if your animal dies, if you purchase another animal, you know, that financial aspect of things you really need to understand. And that's why it's important for farmers to seek for financial literacy, to seek for financial knowledge, just to understand after farming what happens.
It's true. It's true. Now, is this financial literacy program available to all farmers countrywide, or is it just specific farmers?
No, countrywide. You find it on websites. And this is the other thing that I need to probably make emphasis on. Agri-Learn, of course, you also learn about financial literacy like we're doing right now. But going to YouTube's, Agribank has a YouTube channel, for instance. You get the tips of financial management there as well.
Exactly.
So you need to go to, and in the world of COVID like we are now, things are on internet. They are on Facebook, they are on YouTube, they are everywhere. So go on YouTube, go on Google and search financial literacy. Just understand the know-hows into the finances of your business. And as Agribank, a financial institution, we will also be able to guide you financially as to how do you do certain things like we're doing right now.
Exactly. So to all farmers out there, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Agricultural Bank of Namibia, as well as all our social media platforms. That is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Ms. Nangonga, your final remarks.
Well, for me, really, again, to farmers, you shouldn't be surprised when anything happens. Make sure that nothing gets you or finds you off guard. Know your financial position. Know your cash flow. Know your business in and out. Keep records. It's very important. Even when you approach a financial institution, when you approach Agribank, we want to see your past performances. How have you? So track record is very, very important. Making sure that you understand the financial aspect of things. You shouldn't come to Agribank and say, for instance, you are the bank, you must understand. We want you to understand your own business, understand your own finances, and understand how to successfully run your business to profitability, sustainability, and employability. The other thing that you also need to remember is that the income or the profit sometimes is not about just making profits. Sometimes is to make sure that you minimize your losses, because there are many businesses or many farming enterprises that continuously run into losses every year, continuously. So how do you minimize the years of losses or the cycles of losses? That's also another thing. Apart from just running for profits, also learn to minimize the losses. And with that, over to you.
Ms. Nangunga, thank you so much for joining us on Agri-Learn. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing such in-depth knowledge with regards to financial literacy.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, until next time, it's bye-bye.
Agribank, oh, Agribank, yo, season bank, yo.